Sanibonani, ninjani? Hello and welcome to this evening's reading for our new moon in Leo. Mina Makhosi Nomabutho, and this is Sangoma Society, where we demystify the astral and the ancestral. And this is our reading for this upcoming new moon in Leo on the 24th of July 2025. It's busy, guys. Ngiyaphithizela, okay? Ukuphithizela kona kuyaphithizela. Yo! Ukuphithizela kona kuyaphithizela. It is the Mercury retrograde is not being gentle at all. Not personally, I feel like I'm feeling it, not just a little bit. Like it is intense, it is real, and whew, whew. Show of hands, who is surviving? Because I'm not sure that I am. Okay, I'm not sure that I am indeed surviving, but we're out here and we're doing the work. And today we're going to look at how all these transits really leading up over the next 2 weeks, because what it is that when we have a new moon is we have the moon and the sun in the same sign. So there is a harmony in the sky. There is that intention that is very tangible. You know, it's a beautiful time to start new things. It's a beautiful time to see into the future, to look into things. And it's very, very easy to misunderstand the new moon because the sky is darkest when the moon is new. So we don't actually even see that, crescent in the sky. There's nothing. It is just a dark sky when the moon is new. Unlike when the moon is full and it's illuminated, and we might imagine that that is the time to set intentions. It's actually not. When you want to set intentions is now. When the moon is new, and that's going to be this week on Thursday, the 24th of July, 2025. And what is going to be happening is we're going to have the sun and the moon both in the sign of Leo. Now, Leo is the superstar, the main attraction, that girl of the zodiac, right? If you have Leo in your first house, a Leo rising is very famously somebody who has, like windscreen ya dumela, your curb appeal, the way you look is something that is very tends to be very regal, tends to be, very inviting to people, That's like Leo energy. It owns its power. It does not shrink away from what it is. Now, it's a beautiful time to set intentions that are bold, that are audacious, that are something that might even scare you a little. All right? But now remember that you are threading the eye of a needle here with the Mercury retrograde ongoing since this past Friday, also in Leo. And just a few days after, yo, Marcos, hey, hey, Marcos, just a few days after this new moon, we're going to see Mercury Kazimi in Leo. So when we see a Kazimi, what is happening is that that planet is in the heart of the sun. So the energy that we are experiencing is almost intensified or crystallized. And we're really, really getting that vibe of like, this is that. And we're going to be having the sun and the moon in Leo. the moon will have moved on, but we're going to have the sun and Mercury both in Leo, but conjoined, amplifying the energy of the Mercury retrograde. On the last day of the month, on the 31st, let's be mindful of this. Let's be mindful of this as we move through this. We spoke about this in the retrograde reading, but just in case you didn't catch it, let's reiterate it. This Mercury retrograding in Leo is one in which, as much as you may feel that you want to talk about things, do not talk about anything that is not materialized. Evil eye is so high in the sky right now. You want to allow yourself to fall back where you need to fall back and allow for things to materialize before you claim them. Yo! Give your life the opportunity to show you what it can do, right? Yours is to use that audacity and use that almost tangibly like heightened confidence that the sun in Leo is bringing, right? Use that to manifest, to show up in your life for the goals, for the desires that you hold, because things are very possible right now, especially because we're going into that Lionsgate, right? But before we get there, yo, what we're going to be doing is navigating these waters. You understand? So now, yo, Makhosi, Makhosi. So now, as we navigate these waters, these opportunities that present themselves with the new moon to set these bold intentions, let's keep to ourselves what is still up in the air, what we're still trying to figure out. Let's hold things sacred. Let's not just be telling our business to people, because it is tricky. Because when people are experiencing this retrograde, almost reviewing themselves, looking at, remember that retrogrades have that theme of review, reconsideration, remembering, all of this, right? So when someone who perhaps isn't doing the work, isn't conscious of the passing transits and how they affect us, sometimes when a person is in that position and they're looking outward, um, they're not going to be very happy, for somebody else. And I mean, sikhuluma ngezinto zobungoma lana, we do speak about, matters of spirituality. And the reality is that the evil eye is a real thing. So not shrink yourself. This is not that. If there is something to be celebrated, celebrate it. But don't celebrate, I'm going to sign the contract. You'll end up not signing the contract because that weather outside is what it is. Celebrate that the contract has been signed. You understand? And don't let that be made smaller than what it is. Let things be what they are, right? Do not be afraid in that way. Now, this is where we are on the 31st of July, right? Kazimi, Mercury in Leo, with the sun in Leo. Then, when we actually enter the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August, it is tense times. I have been saying for a really long time that what is happening today and the influence of the next few days, Virgo conjoining the South, Mars conjoining the South Node in Virgo, which means the things that we look back on, the things that are foundational to us under the effect of Virgo, the Virgin, but not just the Virgin, the record keeper, the also Mercurial, right, ruled by Mercury, which is currently retrograde, which is again review, right? And Mars, action, tangible action that brings measurable results, right? So this moment is asking us to get our house in order because Mars is going to leave Virgo. Mars is a very fast moving planet. We call this a personal planet. So the planets that we're seeing a lot of action with at the moment, the moon, the sun, Mercury, Mars. These are all very personal planets. These are the planets we see movement in frequently. They move through the signs the fastest, right? Then there's those other planets that are more generational planets that move through slower. And we'll come to those because they do have some action when we hit the Lionsgate. Now, Mars is going to leave Virgo and go into Libra. Mars is not happy in Libra because Libra is a decision maker and a very slow decision maker, one that needs to weigh up a lot of different things in their considerations. And Mars is an action planet. So it is in its fall in Libra. This is not a happy placement for Mars. If you have Mars in Libra, I definitely do. That's my natal placement. Honestly, it takes you so long to get to the point of frustration. It is wonderful in the sense that you might be a more diplomatic person. You might have a more diplomatic approach to things. But what is happening when Mars moves into Libra, right, while it's still in the first degree of Libra, is that it is going to oppose a retrograde Saturn in Aries on the 8th of August, day one of the Lionsgate. Then the next day, we're going to have Mars in Libra opposing Neptune, also in the first degree of Aries. So now Saturn is the things that it governs work, discipline, right? Purpose, how we show up in the world, things that we are prepared to do. Neptune, dreamer, right? So our dream space as well as the dreams we hold for our lives. Now, when Mars is opposing them in Libra, and they are making reconsiderations about their movements in Aries. So I'm asking myself questions about, am I prepared to do the work it takes for the things I want? Right? And when Aries, when Saturn and Neptune are in Aries, or when any planet is in Aries, there is a pace, a speed, a hastiness